missing is a bit of leadership and a bit of direction. So I don't mean when you're doing press conferences looking down, if that doesn't fill me with confidence, I want to see a bit of, do you know what, it's been a really, really tough 3 or 4 weeks, but this is a plan, this is what we're going to do, we're going to stick together as a group, we're going to go up to Newcastle and scrap and fight and try and get something out of that game, and then we're going to have the international break to work on a few things, and we're going to come back against Chelsea and give them a good kicking. I need to feel that confidence from everybody, from the owner to the managers to the fans, because at the moment this is only going to end one way. And are we really going to be a football club that's 3 managers in a month? I'm nervous. And yesterday, like I said, our end it went from the sublime to the ridiculous. Magnificent that first half an hour before the game. And we end the game like that. And I left after the 3rd goal, and I never leave the football match again. Because I just didn't want to say something and get me into trouble, because I just felt absolutely devastated. And I hope that's some bit of hope. I'm sure we'll go into the specifics, but that was not good last night, and it followed up from an awful performance against Sunderland as well, so they need to sort it out.
I don't mind looking at anything. Yeah, I'm more concerned like how he's addressing players in the dressing room is what concerns me. If he can lift them and raise them, he can talk down to the media if he wants. But yeah, it wasn't. He's very deflated post-match interview yesterday. I suppose 3 weeks ago, okay, a lifetime ago, when Andrews was appointed, one of the regular comments is Pat said the club's in turmoil, and I said no, we're not, because we still, we're at the start of the season, we've got a great potential squad, all that kind of stuff. It feels like Pat might be right now, because it's hard to disagree with him where we're at. How are you feeling, Simon, then, about where we're at? Especially, I think one of the sentiments is, like you said, how did it go from here to there, or there to here? How did it go from the ending last season, finishing 7th, a lot of context around that, to where we are now? It's unravelled so quickly. How do you feel about where the football club's at?
So I feel like there's been an awful lot of noise in Forest for a good few months now. End of last season, lots of noise because we didn't quite get over the line to get into the Champions League. We qualified for Europe, but that kind of felt like disappointment. So that's where the noise started, and then over the summer you've got all the noise around Europa League, Conference League. Have we written letters to UEFA? Palace fans kicking off at us. So that's then another element of noise. And then you've got Nuno pops up with creating his own noise by complaining about signings and having a moan about Edu and having a moan seemingly about the owner as well. And so you've got a whole load more noise just at the start of the season. And then Nuno gets sacked, more noise. And comes in, more noise. And doesn't do well, more noise. And it just feels like this noise has been going on for ages now. And obviously the results, every time that we lose, every time that we're chucking away a game like we did against Swansea, or we're getting beaten by teams that we believe that we should be beating, like Burnley and Sunderland and Mitchell, the noise just continues. And we can't get out of this cycle. And Mikey just mentioned the word nervous, and everyone is nervous. I found myself bouncing from foot to foot all game last night, and I've never usually done that. I usually sit and stand there and a lot more kind of composed with it all, but I felt nervous. So if I'm feeling nervous, and like I say, I'm not usually a nervous character, you can see why 50%, 75%, 100% of the home fans in the stadium are nervous. That's then emanating onto the pitch, and all the players are nervous. You can see little things in there, maybe like over trying to do things, that extra pass, or they feel like they should take someone on because people are shouting at them to do it, or they feel like they should have a shot because we need to score a goal, or they feel like they need to make an extra pass rather than having a shot because they don't want to take a shot because they're nervous it won't go in, and if it doesn't go in then everyone moans. So there's all of this kind of bubbling away. And the only way to solve this is to get some wins. And for some reason, we just can't get out of this cycle. So, where do I think we're at as a football club? I think we are in a remarkable position still. We had an incredible season last season. We've ended up qualifying for Europe. I was in Seville last week, and it was the best 4 Forest trip I had in my life, and I might, I probably will get to go to the other ones as well, so I'll have those as well. It might be the only season I ever experienced being in Europe. So from that perspective, we're in an incredible position, and we always talk about, look where we were 4 years ago, and I'm a bit done with that. I think we need to move on from it. But yeah, we were rubbish 4 years ago, but now we're not. We've established ourselves. Now it should be about how do we maintain what we've established, and it's becoming a bit of a mess. And like I say, I think the only way out of it is wins, and I'm sure we're going to get onto what manager is going to get us those wins. I don't think it really matters. We've just got to win some football matches, and I think that narrative will start to turn. And if you remember last season, for 3/4 of the season we were amazing and we won every week, and my wife said to me this morning, the season was good for you because you won every week. It got a bit boring, didn't you? I was like, well no, I'd happily go back to that now, to be perfectly honest. But at the end of the season we were then rubbish for the final quarter, and so there's no reason that we haven't started the season rubbish for this first quarter, and the next 3 quarters could be great. But it's just how and when that change will happen that we start to change our fortunes around.
Let me just thank some people quickly. Mark Sowerby, Matt Wootton, Bon Jute, and Ian Palin. Thank you guys for all signing up for membership. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, this is sort of away from the team. I spoke yesterday for a little podcast next week about some community work that we're doing, and it's great. And lots of this feels like the club's in a good position, but everything revolves around results for the first team. And my worry is that this collapses and the rot set in, and it cascades from here very quickly, because it's the speed of the way the narratives change from Seville, as Simon referenced, to now is very worrying. One win could change it. So if we can get a result against Newcastle, we're all feeling better. But I'm worried we're going to get absolutely tanked against Newcastle. We'll come on to that.
I would add as well that the media and social media outside of Forest, we're our own little bubble, but everyone wants us to fail. Everyone has come to hate us a little bit because of the summer, and obviously you've got certain fan bases that hate us more than others. Fine, I understand why. You have those feelings, but the media want us to fail. So every opportunity they're going to be poking the beast and being like, oh look at Forest, it's not going well, or it's not going well for Ange. So there's that element as well, and every defeat, every game that isn't a win for Ange allows them to continue that narrative. Ultimately it comes down to we need to win some football matches. I'm not quite sure how we do that at the moment, but that's the only way to change this whole situation that we find ourselves in.
Yeah, before I throw it to Mikey, a comment here, a result just papers over the cracks. Quite possibly very, very right. We need multiple results now. Teresa, thank you for signing up for membership. Very good of you as well. Mikey, we'll come on to Ange in 1 second. Where do you feel the bigger picture is of the football club before we talk about Ange?
Yeah, Simon articulates it really well. I'm still in the same headspace. I think we're still in a magnificent position, but it's just not working on the pitch at the moment for whatever reason. So a result will change the mood. You probably want a sustained period of improvement on the pitch, I think. And for me, it's not about scoring 3 or 4 goals. It's just about, like I said, doing the basics. We've let in 13 goals in 6 games. I mean, if you're letting in 2 goals a game, you're not going to win any football matches, are you? So I always remember after we got tanked under Nuno, I think it was at Bournemouth, and even when we lost the odd game 1 or 2-0, he always used to come out and say, clean sheets, we need to be compact, we need to be robust, we need to compete. And the next game after that, we were always better, because they'd obviously worked on it during the week. I'm not one of these people that sang Nuno in and whatever yesterday. I'm not one of those people. He's gone, he's working in East London, sod him for want of a better phrase. Thank you for what he did, but he's gone. But I think what I'm trying to say is the thought process and the mentality should be that we're letting in too many goals, we're letting in too many soft goals, and it's putting additional pressure to try and get this more fluid attacking football working from minute 1. If you tighten up defensively, you only need 1 goal to win a football game. And I just wanted to see us do a little bit better. Can I just retract on one thing I said before, because I feel like I was a bit harsh? If that's Ange's body body style to look down, that's absolutely fine. I didn't want to pick on him for that because everybody's different. The point I was trying to make is that when you're in a bad spell, whether it's football team, business, in life, whatever, that's when your leaders step up. That's when you have to have a plan. That's when you have to have a bit of confidence and you have to exude a bit of, this is what we're going to do to turn it round. It's going to take a bit of time, stick with us. I think a lot of people's frustration is we don't really see that. We're just keep being told things that this is how we're building towards, we're going to play this expansive football. Well, we might be, but if you're letting in 2 or 3 goals every game, you're not going to win any football matches. And we need to start winning football games. So all I want to see, basically, whether Ange stays or not, is just a bit of confidence. Just a bit of, this is how we're going to do it, this is what we're going to do. And I don't see that. It doesn't exude me with any confidence, basically, that this is going to flip and it's going to change. And somebody said to me last night, they're just going to keep losing games playing like this, Mikey. They're just going to keep losing, and it's really hard to say anything different because that's all we've seen, and I really hope I'm wrong. I'll be honest, right? My thoughts. I wouldn't have made this change in the first place, but we are where we are with it. I'm really struggling with it. I am really struggling with it, and I just hope that I'm wrong and we go to Newcastle and we're defensively resolute, and the captains, and I say captains plural, the leaders in that group come out and say, stick with us, this is what we're about. Ange comes out and said, that was a bit better, we're going to work on it in the international break and we're going to come to Chelsea and give them a kick in. Just need a bit of that, just need something to buy into, because all I saw yesterday was a team that's over trying, like Simon said, doesn't seem to have a plan of how to defend, and it looks a mess. It looks an absolute mess, and I'm really worried about it. So hopefully that's got across. Don't want to be negative, I'm just saying what everybody's been saying to me and what I've seen. And I watched the game back this morning as well, because obviously you watch it at the game, you have a different perspective. I like to reflect and look, and it's even worse watching it on telly. That third goal was a disaster. I don't know whether you want to go into it, Matt, but I'll try and be a bit more positive for the rest of the podcast, I promise, but I can't come on here and lie and say we'll be alright, because I don't think we will. just hope that Amrol, when we go to Newcastle, are defensively resolute, and you know the captains, say captains plural, the leaders in that group come out and say, stick with us, this is what we're about. You know, Ange comes out and said, that was a bit better, we can work on it. International break and we're going to come to Chelsea and get back in. Just need a bit of that, just need something to buy into, because all I saw yesterday was a team that's over-trying, like Simon said, doesn't seem to have a plan of how to defend, and it looks a mess. It looks an absolute mess, and I'm really worried about it. So hopefully that's got across. Don't want to be negative, I'm just saying what everybody's been saying to me and what I've seen. And I watched the game back this morning as well, because obviously you watch it at the game, you have a different perspective. I like to reflect and look, and it's even worse watching it on telly. That third goal was a disaster. I don't know if you want to go into that, but I'll try and be a bit more positive for the rest of the podcast, I promise, but I can't come on here and lie and say we'll be alright, because I don't think we will unless things change.
It's fine. There's no reason not to be negative. It's all, there's no point finding fake bullshit positives just for the sake of it. If people feel negative, then people should feel negative about it. We'll go to an ad break in a second, we'll talk one more thing. We're looking at the game a little bit, Simon. I mean, I'll throw in, I thought the Murillo stuff was a shambles, and I thought that was really weak management from Ange. Should have taken him off. But the general pattern of play, is that as much of a concern for you in the sense that we quite clearly cannot defend a set piece to save our lives? I think we conceded at least 4 goals under Ange from set pieces through the last 2 games. But also, do you see in the attacking play cause for hope, or did that look like the much wanted Ange more like, doesn't it? Do you see anything in that sense as well?
I mean, I'll caveat this heavily if I'm interested. I love being a fan. I love going to games. I honestly love my But when it comes to tactics and stuff like that, it's a different world. And I've been lucky enough to work around sport my entire life. And you get to that kind of elite mindset and level of sport. And it honestly, we all think that we know what's going on and how to do it. It's unbelievable the levels of stuff. So I don't really feel like I can comment on tactics and stuff like that with too much clarity. I will say, like, a friend of mine said to me last night, this isn't what I thought Ange ball was. Like, I thought when you're 3-1 down, you've got 5 players on the halfway line and you've got 1 defender, and it's like, we'll just go. So is Ange being honest to himself? Are we implementing his true style? Well, caught a bit of a middle ground because of that lack of confidence thing. Yeah, I mean, conceding the 2 set piece goals when all I've heard about podcasts this week was Europe and set pieces. Now ultimately, if they're the best in Europe, they're going to be really good at it, and you can try and defend it to your highest possible level, and eventually they're still going to score. But it just felt a bit like conceding 2 really soft goals there. So I just don't know, if I'm honest. I'm really sorry. I think the one thing I would say as well is I don't think we're playing very well, and it probably goes back to that point around the confidence that the players have got, and you throw into that implementing a new system, and I'll put that's before and as well. Clearly over the summer we wanted to implement a new strategy and a new approach, and we are having a lot more of the ball, but we're not being very effective with it, whereas last season we had very little of the ball, but we were very effective with it. Now that's probably a longer term strategic shift that the club want to implement, that you can't replicate last season year after year after year, in their opinion. Like I say, I'm no expert, but that's what they've probably looked at, but you can't get away with that. Sooner or later it will go completely wrong. If you want to be long term and strategic and set yourself up for 5-10 years, you've got to transition to this style of football, which is having more of the ball and being a bit more attacking. And I guess we're still in that limbo of trying to do that, and it at the moment, especially last night, it looked horrible. We didn't play very well. I think the games prior to that, we have been alright. I'm not saying we've been brilliant, but we have been okay, and there have been halves, 60 minutes here and there, where we thought, this looks really good, this is exciting. Then Swansea, Betis kind of slips away, and the result doesn't quite be as good as we'd hoped. Going back to the point you put up on the screen about papering over the cracks, we could have won last night, right? Those 2 offside goals from Chris Woods could have stood. And yeah, I absolutely agree, that result, if we'd come away from there 4-3, would have papered over cracks. And we all would have been like, God, we got away with one there, because we were woeful, somehow we managed to beat them. But the thing is, if we hadn't done that, and I know it's buts and maybes, if we had done that, suddenly there's that little bit more confidence. And that's where we're at. We're at that low ebb at the moment, and we need a bit of confidence from somewhere to the next game be a bit more confident, and everyone a bit more settled, and the players not do that extra thing that they don't need to do, or take the shot when they should take it. And then we might get another result, and another result, and another result, and it builds. At the moment, we're going downwards with every result. It makes it more and more intense, more pressure, more difficult. So I'm not sure if I've answered the question very well, but there you go.
People in the chat talk about handball quite a lot. I mean, handball's not a thing that we're seeing at the moment. I think we saw bits of it against Betis, that was great. Burnley, bits of it. Even Swansea, bits of it. We should have scored 6 goals in that game, just the last 2 games, especially last night. I didn't think we saw any attacking structure apart from the first, until they scored, really. Watched last night's post-match show with Sam Collins, who's captain of Forest B team, played for them until last season. He's really good on the tactical side of it, but he was struggling to see what we were doing. So many long-range shots and low percentage chances, and I think a lot of that comes down to confidence, as Simon was saying. Right, you can watch the Newcastle game at the Trent Navigation. It is on TV. We'll preview that shortly, but I do want to talk about what we do with that. But let's have a 50 seconds of happier times and the matchday experience at the Trent Navigation.
Hey up, me duckies. A quick rundown of match days at the Big Shed. We're open from 10, serving full English breakfast, teas, coffees, and believe it or not, beers. Father's footy quiz is followed by the lunchtime kickoffs, and the outdoor kitchen is fired up from midday, serving sourdough pizzas, burgers, hot dogs, pies, and sausage rolls. Lovely. Pints start at £4. We have a great selection of cask ales and lagers to lubricate the vocal cords for a bit of a sing-song before the game. After the match, we've got some great DJs and live bands booked. So get your send down to the Trent now. Win or lose, we're having a booze. And if we draw, we'll have some more.
The stage is set. Another massive performance needed. Look at this, Jason. They're out warming up already. Listen to that. Pitch perfect.
Judge, they just keep going.
The best fans in the world?
Probably.
Carlsberg, proud supporters of Irish football. Get the facts. Be drinkaware. Visit drinkaware.ie.
I suppose, Mikey, the big question is what you do now with the manager. A lot of fans wanted him sacked. Well, last night, probably some at half time. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it should, because you're just writing off the Newcastle game, to be honest. But if we lose to Newcastle, we go into an international break, and the tide turns Europe. though he's only been here for 7 games, and as mad as that sounds, you know, before he came in, and, you know, as a neutral, you think that was crazy. But when you see what you're seeing, if we lose to Newcastle, that has to be a view or not?
Oh God, what an awful question. Blimey, how do I answer that? I just want to see a plan and a bit of fronting up this week. So Newcastle, the next game, I just need to see that level of confidence from all the leaders at our football club, and that includes our manager. I'm not getting that at the moment. So you've got 2 choices to make. You either pull the trigger now and just say, actually, it was a mistake, thank you, put somebody else in, or do you stick by and say, can we get that reaction? Can we get that reaction? I think they'll do the latter. I can't see them pulling the trigger now. I certainly think you'll get the Newcastle game, because it'll probably just be mad as we play in 1 day, 2 days. It'll just be mad. Whether they do it at the international break probably weirdly depends on how we do on Sunday. Like, if we get tanked 6 or 7-0, then I think we all know what's going to happen. If it's a spirited display with a bit of backbone in it, then it probably gets a bit longer. I think where my head's at is, I'll just say it again, it wouldn't have been my choice at the start. I'm desperate for him to succeed, because that means Forest succeed. But I think sometimes you have to hold your hands up and say maybe the fit isn't right. So I'm not saying, well, I'm saying it, I'm just saying this. I think Sunday's really important, and it weirdly enough, I do think we'll lose at Newcastle, because I think not many teams will go there and beat them, apart from the elite at the top of the league. For me, it's more about how we respond. So if we lose 1-0, but we fight and we scrap and we're a bit unlucky, weirdly that'll give me a little bit of heart that we can have the international break and then come back and attack the next run of games. My worry is that we'll get tanked and they'll have to make that decision, and then we're back to square one. We are the club that had 3 managers in a month. I mean, absolute shambles, for want of a better phrase. I said when that advert was on, I just texted Lindsay, my wife, downstairs, she's watching karate, and I said, was that too negative? And she said, no, it was measured, which is good. So I don't mean to come across as negative, but I'm genuinely concerned and genuinely worried. But do you know what? If you flip your mindset, if they do come to Newcastle on Sunday and show a bit of what the team season before last did, when we went to play on 3-1, and they had that, there was a plan and it wasn't reckless and they were doing the basics right, then I'll take a really deep breath like everybody else and go, okay, cool, have we turned the corner? Can we do something in the next few games? My worry is they won't, but this is where your leaders have got to step up. Your leaders have got to really step up now and show what they're about on the pitch and off the pitch, and it comes from the top. You know what I mean by that? It comes from the top. We need some clear direction, because as Simon said, there's too much noise around this football club. It's causing uncertainty with the fans. This should be the best season some of us have ever had, being alive, being a Forest fan. But it started off shambolically, I can't think of a better word. It feels messy, it feels disjointed. You know, we could easily be in the bottom 3 in 24 hours time. It's nervous. So to answer your question, I know I've gone around the houses. I wouldn't do anything now, but I want to see a response, and I want to see some balls, for want of a better phrase. I want to see them front up and show us what we're all about at Newcastle, and then you take it from there.
It's fine to be negative. If you feel it's doomed, it's fine to say that.
I know, but I just want to find that balance where I don't want to come on and go, oh my, I just want to say what everybody's been saying to me and what a lot of people are thinking. They know it's not right. They feel it in your gut. We've all watched Forest for years. We know something's not right. But we can't just keep sacking people every 5 minutes. It costs a bloody fortune. And then who else do we get in? I want them to turn it round. I want them to front up and show what we're about. As a club, as a city, you know, we're better than this. We just need to see something.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a list of names of potential other managers. That's always the big thing. I think Mark's in our WhatsApp chat last night. Sacking Ange is half the problem. There's half the solution. The other half is what you do after that.
Yeah.
And we'll come on to some names. I mean, how do you feel about the manager, Simon? Is he a part of a bigger picture, and sacking him won't make any difference, or does it have to be done?
I think if you change the manager again now, you've got to go back to that point I made earlier about the strategic shift that we're trying to implement as a football club. So that's not just on the manager, right? That decision has been made with other people and by other people, and currently the person that's trying to implement that strategy for them. So if you're going to rip that up and completely change what we're going to do because it's not worked, and after 2 months, 3 months, whatever it's been, we're going to kind of say no, that we need to go back to what we used to do, then I think there's some other people within the organisation that probably need to be looked at as well. I think let's be clear that the owner will not be happy right now. We know what he's like, and quite rightly he is not going to be a happy man, having spent all that money in the summer, having built this structure in place, when we all laughed at him on the council house balcony, he said we'd get us back into Europe, and he's managed to achieve that, and hats off to him for kind of leading the ship that has achieved that for the club. He's not going to be happy. He probably is also not happy because we're not happy, and quite rightly the fan base is not happy. And I get the anger that was shown last night. It's not personally how I go about things. I don't try not to get angry about football as best I can, because we'd be angry far too often. But I totally understand why people reacted in the way they did and sang what they sung. So yeah, potentially a change of manager is a way of placating the fan base and making everyone who wants it to fail, or everyone who's really upset at the moment, you can make them a bit happier by saying, yeah, we got this one wrong, we'll hold our hands up, we're going to change the manager, and here's a new shiny toy for us to get excited about. And maybe that'll change things, maybe it won't. I think I left the ground last night thinking he wouldn't be manager this morning. We might hear any second that he's not, but it seems like he is. So I agree, he probably doesn't get Newcastle. I agree with what Mikey says. There's probably a scale of results that happen on Sunday. If we end up shipping 4 or 5 and play like we did last night and look dreadful, I don't see how he survives the break, which purely from he's only been here a month perspective is madness and crazy, but the results have not been good, and certainly the performance last night was not good, so you can understand why it would happen. I don't think it helps with all of the noise and the media agenda. It will just amplify that even further, so whoever a new manager that might come in is going to be coming into an even greater excuse my language, shit show of noise around Nottingham Forest. So it's not an easy environment to come into. You've got then a group of players that, as Mikey says, have gone through 3 managers in a month, and they started with Nuno and one approach, and then Andrew's come in and slightly changed the approach, I would assume, with this guiding strategy of what we want to do, and then you've got a new guy who's like, oh no, we're going to do this, and maybe the club are even saying, right, rip up that strategy, just do whatever this guy needs, because we're in a bit of a mess, we need to get ourselves out of it. It's not good for players. So I think winning on Sunday would be preferable and looking really good. And then everyone can calm down. But do I think that's happening? I don't think anything will surprise me, to be perfectly honest, on Sunday. We might get beat by 5, we might get beat by the odd goal, but I do think whatever happens will probably have a big impact on what happens in the following 2 weeks of the international break and who the manager is.
I think the difficulty of the situation among so many is, if you sack him, and say you sack him over the international break, that's an admission of a colossal failure of an appointment. You're on your third manager of the season in October after 11 games. I mean, that's laughing stock territory, sadly. So the ownership and the owner who wanted this manager, I think it's fair to say, is he going to hold his hand up and say, actually, this was an error, we need to make a change before it's too late, we can still get a manager, we'll look at some names of a profile that isn't, let's stay in the mid division, let's play some Sean Dyche wall and just stay up. Are they going to do that, or are they going to gamble, because this whole thing's been a gamble, and stick with him, and then maybe it gets better, maybe it carries on getting worse, and he gets the next international break, and you're really right in it there. Loads of things into the Premier League season right now, and it's not catastrophic. The trend of performances is catastrophic, but only in 2 games. So they're coming in a pretty monstrously difficult position here. Because if they leave it too long, then you are in the position where you appoint an Allardyce type manager that gets you over the line, hopefully, and then you're restarting again. And that's the frustration, I think, for so many fans. It's so hard to get to a good position. It's 23 years hard to get to a good position, and it's really easy to rip it all apart and be where we are potentially now. It's not 3 weeks. There's way more pieces to the puzzle than just that. We've signed 13 players over the summer, very ambitiously to build a squad to compete. We're playing European football. We've changed the management style drastically. And I know, Mikey, you think it was too drastically, and I do think that's a big factor here. The whole run before you can walk, sprint before you can walk kind of notion of it was a very, very risky strategy. And I was cautiously optimistic and thought it might work. Right now it looks like it's not going to work, and unless they do something very quickly. Does it feel like the dice cast, Mikey, with the fans as well? Is that the other big factor, the Cooper to Leicester thing?
Yeah.
Once the crowd goes like that, it is tough to turn it back.
Yeah, it's really interesting to say. That's exactly what I'm thinking. So, you're on social media a little bit, and sometimes social media is a bit of a void, isn't it? It doesn't necessarily replicate in real life. I was pleasantly surprised, I was awfully surprised at the reaction when that third went in. That makes me feel like social media is quite a good barometer of what people are thinking. I think it's fair to say a lot of people didn't want this style and this manager to start. Was I one of them? Maybe. I probably wasn't vocal about it.
No one on this podcast said we want Ange Postecoglou to be the next manager. I think there's a perception that we've gone to bat for Ange. I think we've gone to bat for patience and time, but there's no one who has Ange Postecoglou at the top of their list. We'll talk about Silva and things like that, but is Silva going to leave Fulham for this?
No, do you know what it reminds me of as well? Is what's happening in Rangers at the moment with Russell Martin? I don't know whether anybody saw at the weekend that they scored in the last minute to go 2-1. Fans celebrated and then started singing Martin out. I'm not saying we're at that point.
No,
we're definitely not that bad.
No, we're not that bad.
it is quite mad though. It just feels as if we're going to need more than one result to turn some people's mindsets around, and it feels like it's on a tipping point, on an edge, and it will go one way or the other. I'm not one to say, well, it's all about one game, because the season's 38 games. In fact, our season's probably about 60 games now. But it genuinely does feel as if it's kind of now or never, which is mad, because he's been here 5 minutes. But it was such a shift from where we were at. Some people haven't bought into it. We're not getting any confidence that it's going to change. Some people have already made their mind up. The only way, as Simon said quite rightly at the start, the only way to change it is to win some football games. However we do that, you're not going to win letting in 3 goals a game. That's my view. So you've got to get back to basics and defend properly. Sorry,
this is why I don't know nothing about football tactics, because I just be in the dressing room being, come on lads, just win. Come on, it's that simple, isn't it?
I wish it were. Right, let's have a look at some alternatives themes. I did say, Sakan is one half of the situation, the other half is who comes in next. Marinakis has no record of hiring managers in jobs, so I think Silva is probably for the birds, but you never know. And people will say Glasner and Iraola. Why would they leave their clubs right now to come to? This isn't a Forest thing, but they're in their clubs and doing well, and they'll be eyeing up really, really big jobs next. So I've got a list here, taken from Transfermarkt, of available coaches who are not in work, and they're sort of semi-realistic. These might work, these are doomed to failure in my opinion, but these are sort of representative of the names that are out there. I'll stream back people listening and watching. Gareth Southgate, Luciano Spalletti, the former Napoli Italy manager, Thiago Motta, who's from Bologna to the Champions League, they had a rough time at Juventus, Marco Rosa, who took Leipzig to the Champions League, has had a lot of success in Germany, Eric Ten Hag, I know people like that one, but I put him on list. Edin Terzic, who did well at Dortmund, he got to the Champions League final. Sean Dyche, Bruno Lage, the ex-Bolton Benfica manager, Ralph Parson, who's on with Southampton, and then Carrick, Rafa Benitez and Danny Roll, the former Sheffield Wednesday manager, who did a good job there, but I don't think he's ever managed at this level. What do you think, Simon? Those are the sort of names that I think we would be in the frame for. Maybe it wouldn't be one of those at all, but that's the sort of ballpark. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, there's nothing particularly exciting going on there, is it? I get why people would say Silva, Glasner, going over, but you're absolutely right. Any of those, well, we have no history of taking managers out of an existing job. Would any of them want to leave their existing job because they're at great, stable clubs? I find it really difficult to comment overly on that list because I don't know a great deal about quite a few of them, and I don't think necessarily that. Let's take Southgate and Dyche as an example. I don't think they're suited to what we're trying to do. I think Andrew's appointed because he fitted the model that they're trying to implement of this attacking possession-based football. So I'm certainly I did some work with Southampton many years ago, and Les Reed, their kind of almost like director of football then, he basically had a list of their next 10 managers because it was managers that they were watching because they knew those managers would suit the system that that football club wanted to implement, and it worked to Southampton for many years. And then Les left, and other people left, and they try and change things, and then Liverpool goes picks up and they're back in the Championship. So I would hope, if we're looking at other managers, well, I would hope we have a list of 5 to 10 managers that we are watching constantly because we feel that those managers fit what we want to do and the style of play we want. I don't know if any of the names there fit. I wouldn't just be going like Sean Dyche, because I think this is like football 15-20 years ago where you lurched from a Sam Allardyce style to an Alan Pardew style to a Sean Dyche style to a we'll get this shiny toy in from continental Europe style and try to be different. You end up with a squad of players that is just a huge mishmash, and every window you're having to sign 10 players, which we do a lot of anyway. And I think that creates a greater scale of mess that you can't get yourself out of, and it takes 10, 15, 23 years to get yourself out of that mess and re-establish yourself. So yeah, I find it really difficult to look at any of those names and think, well, would they suit what we're trying to do, or is it going to tear it up again and put us in another kind of greater scale of mess?
A couple of names that aren't on the list. Gary O'Neill correctly should be on there. Let's see. Sergio Conceição, let's see reference. It looks like he's got a job in Saudi Arabia to be next today, so I didn't put him on it. I think Simon speaks really well there, Mikey, about the style of play. I don't know much about Thiago Motta, just reading up on him. Sounds like he plays sort of attacking mould. I don't know about the others, but Lee Cars, they get mentioned, he's in a job with England, isn't he, in the under-21, so that's why he's not on the list. I can't see us paying compensation to get him out of there. So yeah, I think Simon speaks really well there. What's your thoughts on people? Sorry, Mike, I'm going on here. People saying it's mad to be talking about new managers while we're throwing this list up. It's representative of what the wider picture of if we make a change, then you've got to make a change for someone else. So that's why the list is on the screen. Mikey, what do you think about it?
You know what that list tells me? It tells me we need a result on Sunday. That's what it tells me. Because it may be because I'm hungry, but that list made me feel a bit sick, to be honest with you. So I think none of them really. There's one or two I'm not quite familiar with, if I'm honest, but the 10 or so that I am, oh please God no. We need to turn it around. We need to have a performance on Sunday and then come back cracking after the international break, because we don't want to be lurching from one manager to the next, and I don't know, none of those fill me with any sort of joy in my heart, if I'm being honest. So let's crack on with what we've got and get a performance on Sunday and try and go up there and win, because the reason, like you said, Matt, we put that up is because if they get tanked on Saturday, then we're going to have to do another one, aren't we? Because I think we all know what's going to happen. So let's hope it doesn't happen, because they do not fill me with any confidence whatsoever.
Matt, you said earlier, like, is it beyond repair? Can Ange turn it around from last night and what happened? I think he can, but I think we're at that critical phase now.
Yeah, I agree.
So there's an element of the pantomime last night. There's obviously a huge element of anger, which, as I say, I completely understand that fans get angry about that situation. That game last night, we've been building up to it for weeks. It's felt like the first couple of months of the season have all been about we're all thinking about going to Seville, we're all thinking about that first European game at home. It was expensive for people to go, and that always has a bit of a factor as well. Of people pay a lot of money to go and watch a football match, and especially at home, you want to see your team win, and then it feels like the money's well spent. And if you don't win, you lose, you go to a game like last night, you're like, Christ, I spent a lot of money on that, and I understand that perspective as well. So it does feel like it's at that critical point now where Ange needs a result, and if we get tanked on Sunday, I don't think there'll be any coming back for it. I think that groundswell of negativity will grow, and as I say, I understand it. You could say quite rightly, if we get a scrappy result, and by that I mean a scrappy defeat, that we feel like we've put in a decent performance, probably keeps it about where it is now. If we get a draw, then it may improve it slightly. If we get a win, then it may improve it ever so slightly more. But it wouldn't be out the woods, but it would be, like I say, I think it's a real critical point for him. I don't want him to fail, because I don't want any Forest manager to fail, because as Mikey says, if our manager's failing and our team's failing, then we're all failing, and it's not very nice. I want us to be a winning team and succeed and get back to last season when, as my wife said, it was boring because we were winning every week. So yeah, I think that's how I look at it. He can get out of this, but he is at a real critical point, and it's going to be a difficult few days for him. I'm sure there's been a lot of internal conversations and probably raised voices and everything else over the last 12 hours or so. It'll probably continue for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think there is a path where he can turn it around, but it's a pretty narrow one, and it certainly involves getting, as Mikey says, at the very least a performance against Newcastle. Then you've got to probably beat Chelsea, or at least get something. Bournemouth away is a really tough game, and I think you have to beat Man United and Leeds, and just to keep them in a job. It's not a one-game thing now. It's to turn a narrative, it needs to be 6 or 7 games, and even then it feels like it would turn back pretty quickly. So yeah, it's pretty tricky. Mikey, you've got to go in about 5 minutes, so we'll just do a quick team for Newcastle. Put that on the screen. You submitted one. I think people can submit almost any list of names here, and you can make a case for us last night. Sells in goal. We're assuming Murillo is out, by the way, with this. Savona right back, Milenkovic, Morato, Williams, Brian Yates and Anderson in midfield, Amari Hutchinson and Dan Ndoye on the wings, and then Morgan gets White in behind Chris Wood. I'm sure people will pick at some of those names, but what's your thinking there?
I'll be short and sharp with it. I think Ryan Yates in midfield. It's Ryan Yates time. Genuinely, it goes back to what I said before. We just need to scrap and fight and win some battles, and he's pretty good at doing that. I mean, there's some things he's not so great at doing, but he's good at doing that. And I think that maybe frees Anderson up a little bit as well. I was impressed with Dan Ndoye last night. I think he did well. I thought Amari Hutchinson for the 10 minutes against Sunderland did well. And the fact that he didn't play last night, he should be fresh, and I'd love to see him start. I think Chris Wood starts. That defence frightens the life out of me. But I just think when you need a bit of scrapping and when you need a bit of doggedness and determination, this is one. I mean, if you're not going to play Yatesy in this game, I just don't think he's going to play at all. And I know he's not necessarily Ange's you know, in whatever Ange ball is, does Yates fit in? Probably not. But I need to see something. The fans need to see something. So whether you stick Sangare in there and go in a 3, I just think this is probably made for Yatesy to come and rattle a few and get stuck in their midfield. Their Newcastle's midfield is wonderful. It's excellent, and we need to be right up from minute 1. So I'd stick Yatesy in, and I'm going to get absolute pelters for that. But I think that's where I'm at the moment. I just want to see us scrap and fight, and I think that team gives us the best chance of doing it. And also I think those wingers can cause their fullbacks problems, especially if Dan Burn plays, because he's not the quickest, is he? So I think Amari Hutchinson or Ndoye, depending on who plays on what wing, can give them a little bit of an issue there. And I think Chris Wood did enough to start. So that's my starting team. I'm not saying that'll get something up there, but at least I think it will scrap, which is what I want to see.
I think the only changes I would make would be I would play Sangare instead of Hutchinson, and I would pack a midfield, and I would put Gibbs White tucked in from a wing. And people think this is a mad case. I don't think Savona's good enough or ready enough, and I would even play Nicolas Dominguez right back and invert, and even more pack the midfield, which is a very risky move. But I'm not seeing anything from Savona right now to make me think that A, he's ready, and B, a manager trusts him, because they seem to be going out of their way not to start him in matches. So that's a risky team. I would certainly pack a midfield. I don't think Hutchinson did really well when he came on, but I would throw Sangare in there as well, and I think Dan and Ndoye did really well last night. And I can see why you'd pick Chris Wood, but they're massive. I know Chris Wood couldn't defend that set piece against Sunderland, but if Dan Burn starts and you've got Sven Botman, Dan Burn, Malik Thiaw, Joel Linton, Bruno Guimaraes, Voltemada, all on our set pieces, and you see us defend set pieces like under 11's team, then I think you need every big player you can get on the pitch. Simon, any thoughts on that team? What you'd like to see?
Yeah, you've just put the fear of God into me about how massive they all are again, and we've got to have to defend corners and free kicks and long throws. So yeah, I can't wait to go out there on Sunday. I know this is always a controversial thing on this podcast, but I don't look at the comments. I thought Sangare played really well last night.
No, he was really good, wasn't he?
You could argue that he should be in this 11. There's also the very well made point that he doesn't tend to perform that well against real high quality midfield, which Newcastle definitely have. But maybe if you are, as you say, Matt, back in the midfield to get some bodies in there, and to sacrifice one of those attacking forward players to get him into the midfield as well. We probably do need to go back to basics a little bit and be a bit dirty, and Ryan Yates being on the pitch for that isn't a bad thing. Like I say, it real feels like a critical point, and perhaps we just need to forego some of this possession-based attacking play football that we want to be playing, and just do something ugly for once. Try and get a bit of confidence into everybody, and just take this game as a real one-off and select an 11 accordingly.
I see Matt D in the chat saying about Cunha at right back. Yeah, I think that's not a bad shout at all. I don't know if he's fit or not. He hasn't been mentioned for ages. Obviously, he couldn't play in Europe anyway, but that's not a bad shout at all. Mikey, you've got to go in 3 minutes. Any final thoughts, and then we'll just wrap things up. Just quickly.
How do I summarise it? We need something on Sunday. We need to go up there and show what we're about. Otherwise, there'll be changes and more stability, and then we'll be talking about things which, if you would have said we'd be in this position a month ago, I'd have laughed at you. Looking at the third manager, but things have happened, and we need to move on, and we need a performance, and we need, like I said, the leaders to come out and show what we're about, and for us to try and get behind the club and everybody as a city. But we are at a tipping point, and I'm not going to lie, I genuinely think if it comes to 4 o'clock and we've been tanked, then you'll be asking me to come back on the podcast, Mike, because I think some decisions will be made, but hopefully we won't get to that. I just want to say thank you to a few people I met quickly just before I go. Before the game started, so Caroline, big podcast fan, lovely to meet, and a few others that came up and said they enjoy what we do, it's cool, so hopefully we'll be a bit more positive after a good result on Sunday. And a big apologies to Lindsay's auntie, Kay, who came down and is staying with us at the moment from Hot. And I assured her that watching Forest will be a better experience than Hartlepool. It clearly wasn't, was it, last night? So, big apologies, Kay. Hopefully next time you come, we'll be a little bit better. But yeah, keep the faith, everybody. It's really tough at the moment, but you know, we'll get through the adversity as a city and as a team, and we need something. We just need him to step up and show what they're about, and then the fans will get behind him. No doubt about that.
Excellent. We shall let Mikey go, and then me and Simon will wrap things up for the next 5 minutes or so. Lovely to see you, Mikey. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Absolute pleasure. Thanks, everybody. Enjoyed the comments. Thanks, Simon, mate. See you soon.
Right. That's a good point about, yeah, I feel like some of the senior players, again, by playing Ryan Yates and Chris Wood and Morgan Gibbs-White, you know, those guys need to, you know, deliver a performance as much as they can. Certainly, that's a fair point. A couple of other bits just to wrap things up quickly. There's a letter in the public domain from Savills, who are representing Forest. They've written to the council with a fresh planning application with a plan to take the city ground capacity from 43 to 45,000. So this is different from the Peter Taylor one that's been approved, and it calls for demolition or partial demolition of existing buildings and structures of the Peter Taylor stand, Champion Centre, don't know what that is, Club Shop, Britannia Boathouse, Sims Boathouse buildings and residential properties. And then they would redo the Peter Taylor stand, fill in the Trent End corners, and that would take the capacity even higher, 43 to 45,000 as mentioned. So we'll keep tabs on that one, but it looks like you know, the developments that we all want to see, we're going to have to be patient on that front again to get what we want and the club want, certainly. On that front of the sea ground development. Elliot Anderson and Morgan Gibbs-White have both been named in the England squad for their upcoming games, so well done to them. Simon, are you surprised Morgan's in? Honestly, if you were more of a neutral, did you think he'd be in it or not?
Yeah, I said to a couple of friends this morning that yeah, I'm a little surprised he's in, because he's not been in brilliant form thus far this season. And you've got the likes of, I guess, Jack Grealish, who would be competing for a spot alongside him, and Jack Grealish has been in better form, you could argue, but I get the sense that Tuchel quite likes to have a settled squad and not change things around too much. I caught a little bit of his press conference before we started, and again, just talking about negative media narratives, Rob Dorset from Sky was going in on Tuchel about why he hadn't selected Bellingham, and is it because he hates Jude Bellingham and Jude Bellingham hates Thomas Tuchel, and he just wouldn't let it go, which I found utterly bizarre. So yes, a little surprised that Morgan's there, but he's great, it's brilliant. I hope it helps boost his confidence. Obviously brilliant that Elliot's there as well, and it was richly deserved because he's been phenomenal for most of the season, and certainly in Seville last week he was best performer on the pitch, and one of the best performances we've seen from Forest play for quite a while. So that's great news. Interesting about the stadium. I'm not overly surprised that now they've got a new architect in, they're looking at doing different things and bigger and better things, and that architect's probably look at the plans that were drawn up and be like, oh, you can do this, or we're confident you could do this as well. And clearly the club have got an ambition to get the capacity in the stadium as high as possible, so we can get all the fans that want to attend games in to watch them. It'd be good if we started winning some games, that would probably fill the seats.
hopefully. Yeah, you're right about Elliot. Last time was the first game actually where I thought his levels, even he got dragged into trying, like you said, I think he was trying so hard. Like, he was ambitious balls, his crossing, his set pieces, his radar was off. So even he's been affected by the malaise. But him going to Newcastle, his old club, he'll be right up for that. And as long as he harnesses that energy in the right way, Morgan gives a performance. Their fullbacks aren't great. I'm spinning a narrative, but you just never know. You never know. So I'll try and end on a note that makes me think we can get a draw. Although I have been on another podcast and predicted we'll lose, but you just never know in football, do you?
I think you've said about the kind of, you know, those core important players in the squad knowing that they need to put performance in, and I think they do know that they need to put performance in. I think they know that last night wasn't good enough, and clearly they hear what's being sung in the stands and the boos and all of the reaction and the general disappointment from everyone. They feel that, and you know, certainly it doesn't seem like they're anti Ange Postecoglou. what we've heard is they like what he's done so far and they've bought into his methods, so they know they need to put performance in. Just as we've kind of covered a few times, hopefully that doesn't make them overly nervous or try too hard, which results in failure, and they can just calm themselves, put in a good performance and get us back on track.
Hopefully so, hopefully so. Right, if people have enjoyed this, and I do feel it was a good discussion, so hopefully you enjoyed this one. Do us a favour, hit like, hit subscribe. Do consider membership or Patreon or a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. Join the therapy session in the Discord if you're a member. You should get an email, or if you don't get an email and you're a new member, then get in touch with me and I'll send you the link for the Discord. Simon, any final words? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to plug? I don't know if you've got anything coming up, Mark Glorious banners wise, but anything you want to add?
No, nothing to add, nothing to plug. I just take my camera with me as usual. It's costing me a lot less money in film and film development when we're not winning games and not scoring goals, and so that's one slight benefit of it all. But I'm trying to focus a bit more on European stuff this season, so you'll see more from me around those games than Premier League games. Just keep an eye out for everything.
Good stuff, good stuff. One thing I forgot to say is there'll be a vlog out from the game. I keep doing these vlogs thinking there'll be a glorious occasion. We've never won one of them, apart from Brentford actually. Check out the vlog. That'll be out about 4 o'clock or something like that. So thanks to those guys doing. Big thanks to Chris Aylmer, who is a professional filmmaker, and I think he might have enjoyed doing lots of B-roll footage as he called it, behind any noise, stuff around the edges, I would say. So do check that one out. So thanks very much everyone for their company. Do us a favour and hit like camera already. We'll be back tomorrow with the Operation preview. And if we don't see you then, we shall see you soon.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
This podcast is sponsored by HM Revenue and Customs. Are you an aspiring hustler, planning to kickstart or grow a side hustle to earn some extra cash? If the answer is yes, then listen up, because this message is to give you the lowdown on the tax rules for side hustles. You always hear talks about having multiple income streams to become a success in the future, and Faded was one of mine. It started out as a party amongst friends and ended up growing into a brand that packs out venues. But for it to become the brand that it did, staying on top of things like keeping receipts and paying your tax bill was very important. Something to remember is if you've made over £1,000 from a side hustle outside your main job, such as selling things online, freelancing, or running club nights like me, you'll need to tell HMRC. Because if you don't, you might get an unexpected tax bill. But don't worry guys, it's easy to check if you need to pay tax. If you've made more than £1,000 from your side hustle, you need to tell HMRC. Search tax help for hustles and learn more about where you need to go check if you need to pay tax.
What's happening people, it's Marvin Abbey here. Thank you for listening to the Free Shots Tequila podcast with myself and Taser Black. A few quick announcements. Comments are back on Spotify, so please, when you listen to the episode, if you're on Spotify, leave a comment, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you found funny, what you didn't find funny. Engage with the convo. If you're on Apple Podcast, there's nothing like that on there, but we do appreciate you. So if you are on Apple Podcast or Amazon Music, thank you for rocking with us. Don't forget we're on YouTube also as well, Free Shots Tequila UK, or just type it in, it will come up. Videos drop every Tuesday, Friday and some Sundays around 7:30 PM, 3 PM on the Sunday I believe, if we do drop on a Sunday. Thank you for rocking with us, appreciate you lot and enjoy the episode. Is it recorded?
Yeah.
No, bless you.
Oh, yeah, we'll just cut that out.
Well, because, this will get out something.
You know, you're like, woo, jokes in it. Just fucking with you. I was just fucking with you, right? Oh, listen, we got bad jokes in it. I know you're listening, babes. I love you. I love you.
You are now listening to the Free Shots of Tequila podcast with Marv Abbey and Taser fucking Black.
So I've got a topic to use. Still got you to sample though, Tez? Are you that hot? You got with headphones on?
No.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play this here, and I think it was sick. I don't know what this girl's name is though. There was like a round table talk on Represent with. Who's this? Do you know who this guy is?
Crystal.
Is that name Crystal?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay. Crystal, Miss Banks, and a couple other people. I'll play the clip. D Double was there as well still.
Yeah, I've said it right, Crystal.
Crystal, yeah, cool. And she's talking about. Let me play it.
You tell me? Watch this video. I saw a TikTok the other day that said you have to be very careful giving people back the same energy because you end up mirroring their demons. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So if you're just like keep the same energy and no, you treat people how you would like to be treated.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, it's your standards. Like, you lowering your standards to what the other person is doing to you and themselves puts you in the same realm as them. You can't go to the heights that you need to go to because you've accepted that spirit. I've come to realise that one.
Yeah, so this guy's video is another guy, I think his name is King James, but yeah, I think that's a sick video because people always do this thing where they're like, they mirror behaviour, and it's like, you're not actually mirroring behaviour, you're mirroring what you perceive. Because for example, you might think I'm being rude, so you be rude, but I wasn't being rude. You took it that way. Do you know what I'm saying? So sometimes, or I might be being rude, but then all you have to do is just remove yourself and carry on being Taser Black. You don't have to be what I'm doing, do you know what I'm saying? So I think it's important because a lot of people nowadays are like, if this blah blah blah, dude, it's like, I don't know, man. I just feel like it's like just going down the pan, bro.
There was a girl at R&B. Every time she sees me, she's always like, she says hi, we say hi, we do all the niceties, and she's always like, why are you always grumpy? And then she tries to make like a joke. She tries to be sarcastic, and I'm like, sarcasm isn't funny. It's not funny. It's not funny though. Like I detect the sarcasm. You see, like when some people are trying to be sarcastic, you're not supposed to catch it.
No, you catch it, but you just know what it is.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, if I'm being sarcastic.
If you're being sarcastic to someone else, but I know you, I should catch it. She shouldn't really catch it.
No, you catch sarcasm.
Nah, man.
Yeah.
Nah. If you're being
it's not being sarcastic, you catch it because you take the tone. Now, for example, if Brent says to me, oh Marv, I'll say, oh Brent,
but you know Brent.
Where did you go earlier on? And then Brent says,
Chicken shop, yeah.
Where do you think? Like, I get what you're saying, that like anyone will be able to. Remember, sarcasm is a tone to it that, or it's usually there's usually an answer that is kind of like self-explanatory. You're like them like Nigerian ones when they say, "Oh, how you getting there?" I mean, you get in the bus, and the man sat in the bus stop. He's like, "How you getting into the bus?" He's like, "No, I'm going to jump on a well and go into the ocean." Of course, I'm going to get a bus. The sarcasm is sometimes you saying at the end what it is, or you don't have to.
No, I get what you're saying, but that's not how she does it. That's why I said the sarcasm is not funny. She says it's sarcasm.
No, you were saying sarcasm is something that if you know the person, you get. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah, because you and Brent will have a history. Like, for example, Brent, if you order in Chinese, for example, so if someone says, "Oh, what did Marv order?" and I say Chinese.
That don't mean sarcasm.
But you will take it as sarcasm, is what I'm saying, because you know why I've said Chinese. The person just thinks I've answered the question. That's why I said someone.
No, but that's different though. I get what you're saying. But
but that's what I meant, so I don't know this girl like that. So when she's doing her sarcasm, I don't know she's being sarcastic. No, to me, you're being rude.
Someone being sarcastic is someone saying like, "You don't recording the pod on Tuesday," and then someone says, "Yeah," and then someone says, No doubt on the live, someone's going to be eating.
Yeah, because they know you.
Yeah, I get that I'm saying, but I'm just saying, but then someone who doesn't know will still be like...
They won't see the sarcasm.
No, they'll be like, yeah, but that's going to be eating.
But that's what I'm saying, they don't catch the sarcasm. They might think it's sarcasm, they don't catch it. So for me, what I'm saying to this girl is, I can't catch your sarcasm because I don't know you.
Or you're not funny.
I just said that, Mark. This is what I'm saying. I just said that.
No,
Oh, man, I'm gonna walk out the studio, man. I just said that.
What did you say?
When I said she wasn't funny, you were like, oh, you did a soundboard. That's what I said.
Yeah, I was laughing at that. I didn't say she's not funny.
You said, ooh.
I get she's not funny.
That's my point.
I'm not saying she's not. I'm just saying, but you were trying to say that. You were saying that in terms of her sarcasm, the reason why it's
not funny
because I don't know her. But I'm saying no, she's just not funny.
No, she's not. No, she's rubbish. She thinks she's funny, bro.
I get that, but I'm saying
Regis said she's funny. I'm like, cool.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're giving rationale to why maybe I'm just like no, because remember with sarcasm and wit, it doesn't have to be explained. It's just anyone like there's certain comedians or whatever that have wit, sarcasm is there.
No, but what I'm saying,
this girl, she just says stuff.
Yeah, and
thinks it's sarcasm.
And I'm like, no, because if that's the case, it's not funny. So then she's like, you're always grumpy. And then I didn't give pushback. I said, alright, cool. She rattled because she wants to feed off. I said, no. So going back to what you're saying is, I'm not matching her energy, and now she's rattled. And it's not even a case of where I'm trying to be like the opposite of you. I'm trying to be anti you. No, just be cool, be calm. And we'll get on.
That's a cool now.
you know what I'm saying? Like, be cool, be calm, and we'll get on. Your sarcasm, I don't know you that well to detect your sarcasm, so you're not, to me, you're not funny. But it's not me being rude, I'm just saying. But we got there in the end, though. We got there in the end. So yeah, that is a sick video, and it's true.
Do you know what's mad about us? You know what I saw? I saw a video where it was talking about men and women, how our minds operate, and they were saying in terms of like, when you argue with a woman too much, I don't know if you ever had it before where like you have an issue with a woman and there's a back and forth, and for some reason it appears as though she just keeps going on, and you're like, but then you're entertaining it to a degree, but then if you stop entertaining, she just keeps on going. Yeah. So when I think there was like, one of those like Stephen Bartlett kind of things, but it wasn't Stephen Bartlett, and there was a woman who was talking about how brains, male brain and the female brain is different in terms of women operating chaos on a daily basis. So for them, being in that chaos is fine, whereas for men, that's why a lot of men say they want peace and whatever. For example, like, give you an example, a woman might be like, I need to be here at this time. What's going to happen at the event? This, that. They're always, remember that women are always like overthinking stuff. So with that overthinking, there's a sense of chaos in their brain that's always. Whereas men, we don't overthink as much. We can procrastinate, yes, but we don't overthink in the same way. So when it comes to conflict, a man would rather be just, and so the woman will see him as being dismissive because he's not talking. Whereas on the opposite, the man will see her as being confrontational because she keeps on talking. You know what I'm saying? So both parties see it differently. So I was thinking, that's interesting still.
Even the video that I said I was going to play.
Yeah, that's why the K kills them, bro. When they send a long paragraph, you say, okay. They're fuming.
Yeah, but that's because it feels that you didn't read it. You didn't read it.
Yeah, but also you're not entertaining what I'm saying right now. I'm talking to you and you're saying K, you mad.
You mad,
So...
Yeah, but again, like I said, like... who's Mourinho manager for?
Who?
Mourinho.
Benfica. They lost to Chelsea 1-0, innit? João Pedro got sent off.
Nah, the tipster said Mourinho's gonna get carded.
Oh, he did?
And imagine 12-1.
Mental.
Right. Yeah, where's that video? Let me play that video.
But also, just to conclude the thing about mirroring, I think it's very important that we don't mirror people, because I feel like if you have a standard, Taze, or whoever's listening has a standard and that's how you operate, if someone doesn't want to operate within your standard, just leave them, man. But this whole, like, even with brethren, I've heard it when people say stuff like, my brethren hasn't called me, so I'm not calling them. It's like, why are you doing that? Just call them. Brother, if you're the one who's noticed something, just call them or just send a message, say, yo, what's on, you okay? And then remember, if they blank you from there, or you put the olive branch out, and then at least you know, there might be a problem, because whereas you can't, my thing is, you can't do something to someone and then be upset that they're doing something similar.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because who's right or wrong here?
But it's like the whole, I don't want to be embarrassed, or People say, "Oh, the Paris, I don't want to call him." You seen a bumhole? Like, I don't understand what's going on here, man. Call him, man. You're doing it. Anyway, let me play this video quickly, but
But a man who's emotionally mature, popular opinion. A lot of women claim that they want a man who's emotionally mature and has his shit together until you actually get one. And then you realize that man come with discipline, standards, boundaries, limits. He don't just give in to you because you said you wanted something, and he not dealing with no smart ass mouth just because it's you. Now all of a sudden he a lying ass narcissist and he don't know how to treat a woman because he don't just give you your way all the time. He actually uses logic and discipline whenever he thinks and he moves and he acts. He's an emotional abuser because even when you summon the waterworks, he don't let you win the argument. He want to still come to some kind of conflict resolution and talk about whatever it is that y'all needed to talk about. He'll give you a second to get your emotions together and check on the side over there and then come back and let's finish discussing whatever we were discussing because it's a bigger problem at hand than just you crying right now. Just let that control him in the ways that other men let that control him because he got his shit together, remember? And until you're ready to actually communicate, leave that man where he at. Until you actually ready to listen, leave that man where he at. Until you're ready to sit down and have real adult conversations, leave that man where he at. Because let me tell you something, dealing with a man who's emotionally mature is not for the weak.
Alright, wait, before you respond, Marv, one sec. I want to read you someone's response and I want to know what your thoughts are. I can't lie, after everything she said, yeah, this is someone's response. I want to know what yours is. So, this is giving pick me. Wait. Women are emotional creatures. Long-lasting relationships are when a man allows her to have the small wins. And when it comes down to the big decisions, that's when he puts his foot down and she respects it. If you don't let a woman feel like she's in control, running the house, etc., then she'll always feel drained, defeated, and eventually check out. No woman wants to be controlled and told no. Brother? I said to her, how did you watch this video and come to this conclusion? What are you saying? What is she saying? What's going on?
You know what's mad? Do me a favour, read that and put man in where the thing is. If I ever said
men are emotional creatures, long-lasting relationships are where a woman allows her man to have the small wins. When it comes down to the big decisions, that's when she puts her foot down and he respects it. If you don't let a man feel like he's in control, running the house, etc., then he will always feel drained and defeated and eventually check out. No man wants to be controlled and be told no.
That's what I'm saying. It's garbage. The women will be saying, nah, what do you mean you can't say no? Brother, and then that's why people say to me, oh, why are you single? Brother, I need to start saving these videos and sending them these things. This is why, bro.
Hey.
I can't deal with this, man. I just feel like social media just finished us, bro. That like, everyone's just got crazy opinions on stuff, bro. How can you tell me no one wants to be told no? Are you a child?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Are you a child? I guarantee the women that are saying these things have children that they tell no. They have men that they tell no. And also, as a woman, with consent and all these things, no carries a heavier weight to you, if that makes sense, in terms of like, you know what it means and what it should mean. And no doesn't always mean, it's not always a disrespect. It's just a boundary, as in no, I don't do this. So how on the flip do you not, how are you so comfortable telling people no, which is fine, but you don't want to hear no? What?
You don't think, because she must think she's always right. By the way, random question here. How many women do you think, let's say there's 1,000 women in a gym.
Yeah.
How many do you reckon are there for the male gaze?
I was going to go for a safe number and let's go for 400.
So 40%. I think it's less than that, you know. I think a lot of women nowadays go to the gym, or the ones that I've seen, they go to the gym for one, obviously themselves. I don't think they do it for men.
No, but
a lot of men, and obviously this is not all men, some men don't understand that. So even like, okay, example, when you're in the gym and you're talking to someone who's in the gym, a girl, you don't touch them, do you?
Never.
There's man that will go over there, stroke the back, hey.
No, but remember.
You're gonna say that's a sicko. No, but you're in the gym, like you're in the gym doing your own thing. Like we gotta talk about it because it's mad. When the girl was telling me, I was like, what? She's like, the guy came over and basically like he kind of like stroked my back to get my attention. One, I was like, that is crazy. You don't know you? She said no. So I didn't tap your shoulder then. She's like, your guess is as good as mine. Cool. Then he's gone and told her that basically the weight that she's doing, it's like a bit much for her. Like he's assessed the form, so he's been watching her. And he's like, oh, if she needs any assistance, he's just letting her know that he's there. So she's like, I'm already in the gym trying to avoid you, and now you've come to tell me that you're there. I don't care.
No, it's garbage. But I feel like, there's a sweet spot in terms of, so for example, like I go to the gym. I don't go to the gym for girls. I go to the gym for myself. But if there's pretty women in there.
No, not in the gym. That's what I'm saying. Not in the gym. I'm talking about outside of the gym. As in the work you're putting in. You can honestly, you can say, yeah, I want to do it to look good for girl. Cool. But I'm saying women. I think the number. You would argue that it's a lot higher.
You're saying
outside, like, as in the work that they're putting in the gym. Do you think they're coming out to do it for man to look?
No, it's higher still.
Oh, you think it's higher?
I thought you meant I think you meant them going into the gym.
No.
And wearing like a two-piece.
Oh no.
Like if it's for the male gays, I was like,
outside.
Nah, man. Come on, man.
You reckon it's higher?
Yeah, it's way higher, man. Yeah. Look, we just got to be honest with ourselves. Most of the things men do are for men. Most of the things men do are for women. And a lot of the things women do are for men. Like, it's standard, like, so we do it so subconsciously we don't even realise, bro. But, I had a funny story, yeah? I made a video about it, but I didn't post it. I posted it this week. So anyway, I go to Boots for my mum. I'm looking, when I mean dusty, yeah? I mean dusty, bro, yeah? But I got on my e-scooter, and I just, like, cut to Boots quickly, so I got, like, one old Lakey hat on, yeah?
It's not a bait Boots, is it?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay.
I don't mind. It's Boots. Yeah, Boots are Romford, isn't it? So, I'm wearing like a dusty Lakey hat and I got a hoodie on and like, I'm wearing shorts. Anyway, I think I'm wearing Crocs, but I look dusty. Then I went Sports Direct, I had the Sports Direct bag, like whatever on my shoulder, whatever. So I put the thing on the counter, whatever. This girl's looking at me like, she works it, she's looking. She's like, you look familiar, do I know you from somewhere? Whenever people say that to me, sometimes I'm a bit off, sometimes I'm like, nah, I just look like someone. But she seemed alright, so I was like, I don't know, you tell me. She let me give M. I said, yeah. She's gone, okay, cool. I thought that was you, but I wasn't sure. I said, so I'll bust a joke now, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm looking a bit dusty there because obviously, like, whatever. Because I was thinking that. I was thinking you look different. I said, oh my God.
I don't see you look dusty like this.
She was like, I was thinking that you look different. I said, raw.
You gotta hug that one, man.
Yeah, well, hug it. You're supposed to say, no, like, the way she confirmed it, I said, raw, I'm not dusty still.
At least you told her. She would have been in a group chat like, I think Mars fell off.
Yeah. As soon as I got home, I shaped the beard up. I did a facial. I got listen.
But I don't see someone. Sometimes it's your high road, isn't it? You don't care, man.
Nah, man. You see me. You got to care, man.
Your high road.
It doesn't. You see my high road, yeah. Or you see Romford, bro. You know how many people? One time I went to go get a kebab late at night, like maybe like 3 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning in Romford. I was on my scooter, whizzing, bro. 4 black brothers. Yo, is that what? I said, raw.
By the way,
I get bagged all the time, bro.
By the way, yeah, man, them, I don't. You see the man them that listen to Free Shots, yeah. You don't know who you are in it. We've already discussed this multiple times, and we're gonna just quickly touch on it before we leave, yeah. When you see me, Marv, or any of the man them out, yeah, and we're talking to a girl, I can see you like over her shoulder, I can see that you've recognised me. But because I'm in the middle of a convo, I'm not going to stop the convo to hail. If you're walking past me and you do a quick hail, well, go on, cool. A man came up to me and my brethren. Bear in mind, my brethren that in question here, her cheeks are dumb. So that's why he did it. And I knew he did it because of that. Because he's come out of the food shop and he's looked at me, direct at me. He ain't looked at the girl. And I can see he's looked at me. I've kind of done the little nod. I'm still talking to the girl because we're having a deep convo. She's got up now, but she's still facing me. So I know all the youths can see is back. And they've looked at the cheeks and they've looked back at me. The youth's waiting for like an opening in the convo. Yeah, he comes over and goes, Tay, so you said hello to your wife yet? I'm like, what wife are you talking about? He goes, nah, your wife, innit? Like, remember you got married the other day? I'm like, you think this girl doesn't know who I am?
I don't get this joke.
He's trying to do banter, but it was so mad, yeah, but the way I snapped back at him, because I knew he was going to do something stupid, the way I clapped back at him, yeah, he was rattled. But I think he wanted to talk to the girl. So he wanted to sabotage me to talk to the brother. The game was so air, yeah, even the girl was laughing at him. Man said, do you remember your wife? Do you remember the wedding? I'm like, brother, what are you talking about?
Yeah, imagine you were really married. Oh my, I would have swung. I would have swung, bro. Because I'm trying to cheat in peace, bro.
I'm not trying to cheat, I'm having a convo.
No, I'm just saying, imagine you were trying to cheat in peace.
Oh, I wouldn't be open like that.
And the man came up. No, but remember, you might have been in the corner parked off minding your business.
Oh, yeah, if it was that.
Imagine you're trying to say, yeah, what's going on?
Crazy.
You're chatting to her, and then the man says, oh, wow, your wife.
I just wonder, do men think that works? Like, dirty macking don't work out here, you know? Or maybe it does for certain men, I don't know.
Dirty macking definitely.
Yeah, maybe it does.
The amount of times that I have heard a girl speak to me and say something about a dude saying something about me is insane, bro. If I had £1, I'd have at least 5 bills. $1,000,000%.
And the dude that they talk about, you know who they are?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the dude doesn't, I wouldn't say the dude throws me under the bus as such as to say, like, I don't like that guy. It's more of, oh, I see my man following you, or I see my man, or I see, like, what's going on over there, or did you see, or they go out and man will say, oh, did you see my man?
A girl went on a date.
You're like, what?
And prior to the date, so they've met, they've been speaking and whatever, then they've arranged a date. And as she's going on the date, he's done his research. Apparently, he's come with like, when the man's come with PowerPoint, he's going through questions, and then one of the questions was, yeah, you know, like, it's not really cool in these streets if you're following certain guys. And she was like, who do you want to ask about?
How the man trying to follow shame girls, bro?
No, wait, hold on a second. What streets are you talking about? Like, where do you frequent? Where do you reside? Like, what streets are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So he's gone, yeah, it's not really Then she's gone like, who are you talking about? Then he's obviously said my name. Because he's clocked she follows me. And it's not even an issue that she follows me. It's because I follow back. He's like, right, he follows you then. Like, so I must be good.
Do you know what it is? Because I feel like a lot of these guys, they can't fight fair because they don't even know us, or they don't know us. So remember, perception is key here. Yeah. So in their mind, the perception is...
Free Shots episode 2016.
No, their perception is these men chat to girls and girls like them, and now this girl that I know, potentially I don't have, in their mind, I don't have the source of these guys, or I don't have what these guys have in terms of the face, in terms of like people know me. So now I've got to shame this girl into thinking that it's not cool to be around these men or follow these men. It's like, brother, what are you doing? That if she likes you enough, it doesn't matter about us.
She's on the date with him.
That's my point.
I don't care.
If she likes you enough, then leave it there. But why are you involved? But I've never been on a date with a girl, and I'm one time on a holiday, yeah, and a girl that I was linking noticed my follow count go up and said, oh, she didn't say it straight away, she said it like months later. Oh, when you go on holiday, there's a follow count goes. I said, what? You're a sicko.
Yeah, because I meet people on holiday. What's wrong?
What?
I meet people on holiday.
Obviously I beat people on holiday.
No, I meet
you.
No, I meet you. You're with him, man.
Jeez, I said, what?
I meet people on holiday.
You know, you got a lift and the lift goes.
No, I meet people on holiday. Like, come on, man, I'm on holiday.
But you know
what's pre and following card.
But you know what's mad about this year is that why is it that? And I had this conversation years ago. Yeah, we had a little argument one time, or same guy actually, and I was like, why is it that when I follow a girl, it's definitely that I have done something with this girl or something, but when I follow a man, like, it's calm. Like, I don't understand.
You wanted to accuse you and you?
No, I'm just saying as in like...
But that's a competition, isn't it?
I get it's a competition, but it's like, every guy I see... Remember, the difference is, every guy I see her following, if I was looking, I wouldn't think is chopping.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But it's her insecurity.
But it's every single girl.
It's her insecurity.
But to be fair, play devil's advocate. Most of the girls are nice though.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You know the girls tend to if you got.
But I'm nice though.
No,
so when I'm in the follow, I get the problem. My eyes were looking like me as the other day. It's crazy.
No, I get what you're saying.
So it's the same thing, bro.
No, what I'm saying to you is this, yeah.
It's the same thing, bro.
No, it's the same thing. But what I get is that in regards to this scenario.
Are you saying you get you get her frustration because the girl's nice?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, remember that. What I'm saying is, if you have a best friend that's a girl and she's ugly, your missus don't care.
That's what I said, competition. Whereas
if she's buff, your missus got a problem.
Yeah, it's threatening, yeah.
But it's like, I don't like this friendship. No, let's not lie. You don't mind the friendship. You don't like her or how she looks.
But is it the same vice versa? Like, if your girl came and said, this is my male friend and he was a good looking dude, would you have a problem? But this is the issue that I have.
I have a problem if he's ugly or not.
You wouldn't have a problem, you would?
I would, whether he's ugly or whether he's good looking or not.
Oh, you have a problem?
It depends on how he is with you and what's happened. And my thing is, you know why the streets are messed up? Because
the grand finale you've been waiting for is here. Kipco British Champions Day at Ascot Racecourse. Witness the best horses do battle on the sport's biggest stage. There's something for everyone, from world-class racing to a free family zone with lots of activities. Plus, keep the celebrations going with a memorable after-party. Tickets start from just £32 and under 18s go free. Kipco British Champions Day, October the 18th. Book now at britishchampionsday.com.
Long journey home?
Are you okay?
In the mood for a little lift? We've got you.